Hey, ambitious women in insurance and finance and service-based business. It's your girl, Sherri Somers Bell. I am super excited. I'm excited because for the past few weeks, I have been giving you gems and nuggets from speakers that will be at Unleashing Your Inner CEO conference. If you missed any of the speakers, make sure you go back on our YouTube channel and check all of them out, baby, because they had me writing on my desk. Okay. We had the beautiful Annette Nicole Jones. Then we have Christina Perez, who's in the Medicare, millionaire agent in the Medicare field. And today we have another millionaire in the house. Ladies, if you ever feel defeated that this cannot be you, I'm showing you representation that any excuses that you're going to use of why you are not successful, I'm putting it right in your face and say, if they can do it, you can do it today. And today we have another dynamite sister who is my mastermind sister and going to be gracing the stage at Unleashing Your Inner CEO conference. Her beautiful name is Melika Honore, the queen of credit, baby. Not only that, she's a serial entrepreneur, but guess what? I'm not going to waste no time, baby. I'm going to bring her out so she can tell you all about the business. If you're struggling to grow your business, if you're struggling to figure out what mindset, what belief system I need to be in to grow this business, this is your day. If you're a mom with kids and you're trying to do it on your own, I'm a single mom. There's no way I can do it on my own. This video is for you, okay? Because we are breaking generation curse and we're breaking limited beliefs. So I'm going to bring in the beautiful Melika Honore. Hey, queen, how are you doing, sis?
Listen, I'm bucked up listening to the introduction. I'm like, I need to be there. And I'm like, oh, I will be there.
Because it's high energy when Sherri comes.
Yes, you know that me and Annette always says, it's your girl, Sherri Somers. We don't even say your name without saying, it's your girl, Sherri Somers. It all comes together.
So funny. I literally just spoke at 8% in Springfield the other day. And it's funny when I say, but now when the crowd say it, I'm like, oh my God, like y'all hearing so much. Yeah. Welcome. Listen, I'm excited to talk with you. We've been interviewing all our speakers and it turns into one of those things where we're like, oh my God, I didn't know that. Oh my God. And we just be having amazing time. So today, I was excited about bringing you on because when my clients come to me and say, Sherri, I'm a single mom, I can't do it. I don't know if I can ever even hit 7 figures. I mean, much less even hit 6 figures. I hear all this stuff and I'm like, girl, I have friends, I have people who have done it. So I just want to thank you in advance for even just coming here and sharing your knowledge, because I know you're on vacation with your kids. Because that's what it's all about right there. You are epitome of what success look like and having the freedom of success. So let me just drop right in it. Who is Melika Honore? Who is she? Man. Who are you and what do you do?
Honore is a mother. I'm manifesting being another wife, a sister, right? A CEO. I own a few childcare facilities, 3 childcare facilities. I'm the mother of a 26-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 16-year-old. I have, of course, what most people know me as the mayor of credit, Honore Credit Consultants, where we help hardworking women and men and ambitious business owners unlock the keys to financial freedom by teaching you how to go get other people's money, right? And then here's my little thing, like your girl, Sherri Somers. I own the Verdict, the sexiest restaurant and lounge in New Orleans. So that's my new
we're gonna pop up on you one. We already been. The Verdict was open, but it wasn't open. But we're gonna pop up on you one day. But like, we ain't telling you we coming. We're just gonna be like, we here.
Pop up. Hopefully you tell me, because I might not be there. Listen, because the great thing about what I do, Sherri, and you know that I'm a girl, let me just say this. I love money, right? However, I love freedom more than the money.
Yeah, because you're only doing it for the freedom.
I'm only doing it for the freedom. All of my companies are completely scaled.
I want you guys to hear this. I know some of you guys are tracking my interviews. We had Christina on here last week, and Christina said the same thing. Like, I'm in Medicare. I'm $1 million. I make millions of dollars in Medicare, and she does. And the only reason I make that money is more about it allow me to get the freedom. Outside of that, I wouldn't even want to make it. And here you are, don't even know Christina yet, and you're saying the same thing she's saying. Different industry, but the goal is the same. So Melika, let's take us back a little bit.
Okay.
How did you get? I know you're a serial entrepreneur. You have daycare centers. You have the sexy verdict. We know you have all that, but let's take us back. How did you get there? What how did you get from the amazing person that you are? But let's take back. How did you wake up saying, "Hey, I want to do all of this stuff"? Take us on your journey.
So I am a girl living and born and raised in New Orleans. I've been in New Orleans my whole life. I don't have to tell y'all because y'all know what happened in 2005. Hurricane Katrina, right?
Mhm.
I always talked about, I was a little bitty girl talking about being an entrepreneur. And I'm gonna tell you a small story. So I used to talk about being the first Black female president. That was my thing. I wanted to be the very first Black female president in the United States. And being an educator, I always tell parents and educators, be careful of what you tell children because they believe you.
Mhm.
Right. So I was a 12-year-old little girl, and I remember seeing Bill Clinton being inaugurated. And I whispered into my grandmother's ear because we was watching. I was a little girl that liked that political stuff as a little bitty girl. And so I leaned over to my grandmother and I said, Mama, this is so nice. I can't wait to marry a man. And he becomes the president of the United States. And she whispered, because keep in mind, she was born in 1936. She whispered in my ear, Sherri, and she said, marry a man, you could be the president of the United States. Right.
Wow.
So at that point, at 12 years old, I was running around the city of New Orleans and the state saying, I'm going to be the first Black female president. And so I went to school one day and I told my teacher, because I loved the feeling of what people gave me when I said that. They were like in awe, right? And so I told my teacher, hey, teacher, I want to be the first Black female president. And my teacher said, really? So what does the president do? And I said, oh, I don't know. I just want to be the president. And she said, well, I need you. Of course, I'm 46 years old now. So there was no Google. And so she said, I need you to go to the library and I need you to look up what does the president of the United States do? So I read a bunch of books and they had this long list of things that they did. And then they also talked about the income, the salary that the president did. And Sherri, it was only at this time 200 and something $1,000. And as a little bitty girl, I said, oh, hell no. That's not a lot of money. That's not enough money. Not for how I want to live. I want to live in different continents. I want to have houses everywhere. That's not enough money. And so I said, oh, I don't want to be the president anymore. And so my teacher said, okay, well, you don't want to be the president, but I need you to figure out what you want to do. So she said, how much money do you want to make? And I said, I don't know, but I don't want to make 250. That's not enough. I need to make millions. And so she said, I need you to go back to the library and figure out what makes millions. And I
Interesting.
said, the only the reading books of occupations, the only thing came up where it was infinity, right? Which means you dictate, you decide how much money
Keyword.
you make. And so it was the word entrepreneur. So I
Mm.
never even heard about that until that teacher challenged me. And it said 0 to infinity, which means you decide how much money you make. And so at that point, 13 now, I was running around saying, I want to be an entrepreneur. So I always knew I
Mm.
wanted to be an entrepreneur, Sherri.
Wow.
But then Hurricane Katrina happened.
But you know what? That symbol, I believe there were signs in our past. I believe that there were signs, and for me, in law enforcement, um I was in charge of getting the inmates books, and get them books. So people who are done with their books, they would donate their books to the jail, and I was in charge of security for the inmate, the trustees, as they get their books.
Mm.
So I would sneak away and get Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and that's how I got involved in real estate and entrepreneurship, because I would hide away and start reading those books. But to hear, and but at that time, I'm in my 20s and almost in my 30s. that just kind of came to me. But with you, you're here saying, I knew from day one, because there's somebody planted a seed
See?
inside of me that tell me, hey, if this amount of money you want to make, go research it. When you research, you're like, this is the only business, because that's what I'm hearing you're saying,
Mhm.
that can literally, I can predict how much money I want to make. There's no
That's what I'm saying.
limitations.
Yes. Yes.
And there's no limitations. So, and those of y'all who are listening to this, that's gonna be watching this, because I see y'all, the views are up on my YouTube channel. The Those of y'all who are listening to this right now, and I never even look at it in that way. I never believe it in that way. Oh, you can make whatever money you want to make. And for you to realize that, I bet that puts some fuel in the fire for you to
It
say, I'm
better.
about to match.
It better. Because here's the thing, Sherri, you know me. You one of my sister girls, right? I don't have a college degree.
Mm. I was gonna touch on that. Because you're always on Instagram, and we're gonna get all her Instagram handle. Y'all don't have to worry about that, because she's gonna blow you away at Unleashing Your Inner CEO conference. I was gonna touch on that because something that you say on YouTube, you're like, I'm not the smartest one in the room,
I'm
but
not.
I know how to hire or get around the smartest people. And I was like, well, I'll be damned, that woman, but that make her smart.
That make me smart. I hire some through my operations manager has a master's degree.
Hmm.
Again, my administrators all have degrees. I know I'm not the smartest one. We're spiritual girls. I tell this all the time. I have favor. I'm God's favorite daughter.
Mm. So what you're saying is, once you step into the realm of God, it doesn't matter about the degree, because you can elevate higher than people who even have the degree. And that's just being honest.
It's the truth. It's the
That's
truth.
just
And
being
that's my
honest.
gift. And I understand that.
So as you're doing what we call favors in your faith walk, is there a time in your life, as you're taking this journey of entrepreneurship, where you just didn't know if it was going to happen for you? Is there a situation, because you're being a mom, you're growing your business? Is there a way where you're like, where you, and I asked Annette this, I'm going to ask you this, where you had a call on God and said, God, is this it? Can you tell us of a time where he really showed up and showed out for you, and but he take nothing but faith? And that time is when you look back and said, it had to be God.
So I'm glad because that's where I was gonna go with the story. I told y'all I'm a girl born and raised in New Orleans, and Hurricane Katrina happened. I lost everything, Sherri. I don't have a picture, not one single picture of any of my childhood, any pictures of babies. So Hurricane Katrina happened, right?
That's
And so
right.
majority of my people, and when I say my people, my citizens of New Orleans, majority of us was in Houston, Texas. Right. I didn't have a picture. I was living check to check. I was in school, right, to study education because I knew I wanted to open up a daycare. But then Hurricane Katrina happened, and I thought it was it. Like, how do we go from here? I wasn't finished school, right? Because I thought at the time I needed a college degree to operate and run and be the owner of a child care facility. I thought that.
Interesting. Interesting. Wow.
So I thought
Wow.
that. And so
What?
Hurricane Katrina happened. Go ahead. What question you had
No,
for me?
what, when you said that, Melika, the you had to start over from scratch.
From scratch.
So
And
you,
I was going through a divorce. I didn't say that. I was
so
going through a divorce and lost everything.
everything. So there's a difference between, I go through divorce and I lost everything through the divorce, but you got double hit. You got double whammy. You got the divorce, losing everything through that, and also having to lose everything through Katrina. So take us through your emotional. How did you survive that from an emotional level?
And so I'm assuming unleashing your inner CEO is a community, right?
Yes, yes.
That's all. That's what made me not jump off a bridge. My family.
Wow.
Um, I don't know if you all know what we were going through with because they called us refugees, right?
Yes,
And that's
yes.
exactly how it felt. It felt like one, I only had, and so y'all in Florida, y'all know how this go, right? With hurricane. So here's the thing, just like y'all, we like hurricanes, right? We
Mhm.
know that we get off for a couple days, a lot of us with pay. We get to take off with our little boo for a couple days, right? In my mind, that's exactly what it was. I'm getting
Mhm.
to take off for a couple days from work, get to have fun, meet this new little dude because I'm going through a divorce. However, I'm dating.
Mhm.
So what got me through is my community of my family. We were all about 30 of us.
Going through the same thing, cuz
We were traveling together.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when I tell you it was like a movie when we were praying and singing all
Jesus.
the gospel songs because we were about to lose our minds. We had
Hold it
no
there.
money.
Hold it there. Ladies and gentlemen, cuz we got some guys that listen too. I want y'all to pay attention to what she's saying. She's not saying she's saying when she's going through this, she didn't say, "All right, what is the strategy first?" She didn't go to step 1, I should do this, step 2, I should do this, step 3, I should do this. What she did was acknowledge her situation, and then she used her spiritual principle to call on God. She went to a spiritual place first. First. Instead of saying, "Let me get help over here." That's the thing is, I think what you just said is just so but it becomes so simple to you because you know how to handle things so well.
Mhm.
But I don't want the next person to just think this is average, because what she just tell you is a blueprint of your life. When you're going through something, the first step is to call on him. You call on your spiritual father, and y'all are praising God while y'all going through a devastation. Y'all are considered refugees. You're going through a divorce. Now you're a single mom. And instead of you crying and want to jump off a cliff, you're sitting here saying, "I'm going to give God praise regardless of what I'm going through."
Regardless, I'm alive. People died. We watch all over the news, people bodies are floating. I'm alive. I have at least a set of clothes on my back. I'm so at this time, keep in mind, we got to think about this in 2005. So I'm not this girl,
Mm.
right?
I told you to take us. She took us back, y'all.
I'm not this girl. I'm not the girl that y'all see who is the CEO and owner of several seven-figure businesses. I'm not that girl at this time, right? And so when you say mindset set, Sherri, that is spiritual. Like at the time when I'm 26 years old, I didn't know nothing about no mindset crap.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna say crap because again,
Yeah.
that's one of the hardest things we deal with as a new entrepreneur. Right, we don't want to hear it, but we have dope coaches like Sherri, right? My sister, telling us about mindset shit. We like, what? We think we need strategy, right?
Correct.
That's what we think. But all of it is mindset. And so we had to literally gravitate to each other, pour into each other, because all we had was our faith in God. And I'm not no, listen, you know that, Sherri. I ain't no woo-woo chick. I ain't no religious chick. Y'all know that. But am I a spiritual chick? Hell yeah. That's all we had. That's it.
So so that happened through you, and when did but you kept your idea of still going through of opening a daycare,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because that there's some people that God called them to do something, and a tragedy hit,
Mhm. And
and the
they
goal get thrown away, and they use the excuse that, "God, you call me for this, but I'm sorry I can't do this because tragedy is hit." But in your case, you still go through with the goal regardless of the devastation, or regardless of what adversity was against you. Tell
Sherri,
us
you
more
know
about
one
that.
thing about me, I'm a gangster. You know I
Yeah.
say that. I'm a gangster. I'm a real New Orleans girl, right? And so I'm a gangster. I say that often. Um, so this is one thing, and I challenge you and your people that are watching. This is one thing that me and my girlfriends say, and I don't know if I created it or whatever. It has to work or it has to work. That's it. There's no plan B here.
Wow. Say
Even
that
in
again one more time. It has to work, or it
this
has
has
to
to
work.
work or it has to work. There is no other options. So I got to work this thing until it works. That's it. That's
Wow.
the only other option. It has to work.
You're over here thinking about opening a daycare center after
Losing
Katrina hit.
everything, no clothes, no underwear, no bras. I think we went to Houston and they gave us a few things, and I'm like, I gotta figure this shit out. I got to figure it out. Now I lost everything, right? I don't even have a sofa. I was living paycheck to paycheck, right? But I had absolutely nothing. So I knew that still the vision was there. I wanted to open up a class childcare facility. I just didn't know how it was going to happen.
So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is our amazing speaker, Melika Honore. She's one of our speaker at Unleashing Your Inner CEO conference. And she is telling us her story before hitting her seven figures. Why should you listen to her? This is a woman that have constantly chased situations that has happened to her, and she never let what she's going through stop her from her freedom that she's trying to achieve. And we also learned in the time that we've been talking that you can have a dreams, and even though things and challenges come up, that doesn't mean that dream die. If this is really a dream, nothing, no
Not,
power on earth can stop you from your dream.
not at
No.
all.
So so I want, because of time purposes, I want to jump ahead really quick. So you open up the daycare, but that don't mean it's profitable. You know how business are. Business takes a minute to start getting profitable. So when between the daycare and open up the business credit, when did you say, I can do this? This is actually making money? Because after a while, you're in what I call the rinse and repeat process. You got the framework, you're just tweaking little things, but y'all kind of rinse and repeat in the process. You may add new client, new team to team members to your business, but the process is a process. But before you, because you have to do things over and over for it to even become a process. So when did the brain change to say, huh, this is actually working, and I need to scale on this? What time period did that happen for you?
So that happened 2 years. And so here's a time frame. Hurricane Katrina happened in 2005. I bought the child care facility, building, and business in 2006 with a income tax check.
Hmm.
I'm going to say that again,
With it.
with an income tax check. So exactly what you're saying, Sherri. I had an income tax check for $10,000. I signed it over to the lady that wanted to sell it to me, right? Building and all. I know now the lady was dying from breast cancer and lost
Mm.
all of her property due to Hurricane Katrina and did not believe the city was coming back. So at that point, I gave her my check. Sherri, I didn't even know I was going to pay the first mortgage. Right? I'm a real serial entrepreneur. You know how on Instagram it has people jumping off the cliff and figure out that shit down? That's me.
Mm-hmm.
I gave this lady my whole check. I had a job working at House of Blues. I did not know how month one we was going to pay $2,500. No clue. But it has to work or it has to work. So here in 2006, 2007, there was still a lot of things not open for Hurricane Katrina. And so my waiting list on my daycare center was tripled. I had a capacity of only 45 kids I can take, and I had a waiting list for over 200 people.
Wow. Wow.
Go
So a
ahead.
tragedy turns triumph, because I'm sure people now need places for their kids to go, a safe
They're trying
place,
to come back to the city.
because they're trying to come back to the city and they're trying to come back to work. So there's a problem, you saw a gap, and you feel that gap. Oh, there's so much to learn right here.
Yes.
So much. So they're trying to go back. You saw a problem, you become the solution to that problem. And then you're like, oh, there's a waiting list. There's more kids that need to
200
be served.
people. 200 families. And so you know what I did. I gotta get another daycare.
And this
Right?
one is not, you don't even know if this one's gonna be profitable. You just went ahead and opened another one because you saw the need, just based on the need.
The need 200 people, right, is on my waiting list saying I need childcare. I didn't have enough space. I couldn't hide children, right? We're a class A childcare facility. We have state coming in. So I knew I I gotta go figure out another building to open up another daycare. And the light bulb went off. I now am going through Hurricane Katrina, through a divorce. Y'all know how those dudes do. You married now, Sherri, so you may not feel the same way, but you know how those dudes do. Pull everything in our name, right? We're the only ones that have good jobs. Everything goes in our name, and when a divorce happens, what happens? The husband stops paying for all that shit.
Everything. So your name get yeah.
Messed up. So
Yeah.
now I have bad credit.
Credit. Been there. Yep.
I lose everything through Hurricane Katrina. I'm still trying to recoup it. Going through a divorce. When we divorced, he let everything go. And so now I have bad credit. The blessing is that my family, I told y'all we was always into political stuff, was also a family that taught me about credit. Taught me about credit. But it was weird though, Sherri. They taught me about credit, but would say, don't use it though.
Yes.
Anybody else have a family member say,
yes.
if you
Yes.
can't pay cash, right?
Yes.
Our family taught us, if you can't pay cash, you can't afford it. Credit, you need credit, but don't use it. It was confusing the hell out of me, Sherri. You telling me I knew credit, but
then I can't use the credit that I need.
Why the hell do I need credit then?
I don't.
Right. But again, the light bulb went off and was like, I gotta fix my credit. And so that's how it got started.
So you got to fix your credit. So Melika, I don't know if you're paying attention, because I am, because I'm a good listener. And you took every problem that you had in your life and you create a business around it.
Every one of them. You're absolutely right.
And your credit was jacked up from a divorce, from a situation. And then you're saying, I'm going to fix my credit and I'm going to reach back and help everybody else to do the same thing that I did.
And that's what happened.
You have kids, you're a single mom, you're going to need daycare when you go back to work, to the Blue Mart, wherever you're working at. And you're like, okay, let me open up a daycare. Every major tragedy that every major tragedy that Melika went through, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing is you turn all your pain into profit.
To profit. That's right. There's no other way. It don't make sense no other way, Sherri. Like, this shit gotta make sense.
Yes. All your pain into profit. But you're so genius. Like you're so genius. So if I'm listening to you right now, everyone under the sound of my voice who is going through something right now, understand that you're going through it so you can reach back and help somebody come out of it. So take notes on your pain.
Yes.
Because that pain is going to be what makes you profitable in the future. Even if you don't understand it right now, trust the process.
Yeah.
Trust the process.
That's exactly.
So
you know what's crazy? So that I just told that story. Like, every one of my major strategies, I've created businesses and profits from it.
Yeah.
And even my newest restaurant, a single girl.
The sexy verdict was all about what you're ready to put out there in the world.
What I needed as a single professional sexy girl dating. The same thing, same concept. So thank you even for recognizing that, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's plain as day. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is good. Y'all, we can learn. We can take if you don't ever question God on why you're going through this. Profit from it. Don't question about why you're going through it. So how does a serial entrepreneur like yourself, with all of this stuff, yeah, I know you want me to get into all the details, but listen, for time purposes, we cannot get in all our life. I know this is good. You got to come to the conference to meet Melika. You got to come to the conference to meet a millionaire who also went through everything you could possibly go through and still standing here as a living witness that if God do it for one person, he can do it for you. And we're not just talking about millionaire. We're talking about having the freedom to take your kids on vacation as they are right now with her on vacation in Florida. So we're talking the talk. We're walking the walk. We're bringing amazing speakers to you guys. So Melika, I want to ask you a question. And I asked Christina this question. I'm going to ask you as well. working as an entrepreneur in a daycare center and have that business going on, I know you had one belief system right there. But then switching in to be a serial entrepreneur where you have a daycare center, you have the lounge, and you have business credit. What does a person with all these multiple businesses, what's the difference between this belief system, having one entrepreneurship business, and now having three? How did you had to adapt a different belief to get you to where you are right now?
The belief is that I deserve to have the most amazing life. And so the belief system was that I was deserving of this life. That was
Wow.
it. Coming from, and we didn't get to, and I'm gonna just say a little bitty. I was called stupid my whole life.
Mm.
I had ADHD, right? Was not diagnosed, was not medicated, and could not focus. I know now that's my genius. And so the belief system of deserving is what changed. I believe that I deserve the most amazing, successful life full of freedom. I don't
How
know
do
about
you balance all of that though? How do I'm sorry, how do you balance all of those different businesses?
I don't believe in balance, Sherri. I don't believe
I
in balance.
don't either.
I don't. I don't believe there's such thing. I think that there's seasons, right? How the season right now is that I've been 100% self-employed with no job for 17 years.
17 years.
17. I just told you my son is 18 and he's going away to college.
Wow.
I truly feel now they tell me something different because on this trip I began to talk to them and have those conversations that were
Mhm.
probably uncomfortable. But I feel like I missed a lot of their lives.
Oh, because when you're building, there's not a freedom there yet. And y'all, success leave clues. If y'all go back to all the videos that we've had with interviews, this is what we talk about. Christine and I just said this. Success leave clues. So listen for these patterns of conversation between these women that are going to be speaking. When you are building to freedom, you may not have freedom on the journey.
Yep, that's right. That's
When
right.
you're building to freedom, you may not have freedom on the journey, but the motivation, the inspiration is knowing that it's coming. It's
It's right
coming.
around the corner. You
It's
just
right
gotta
around the
stay
corner.
consistent and stay the course. And so that's what it was. For
Wow.
17 years, I've been girl, I can't pay these children to go to the daycare now because I was tugging them along with me. I can't pay these children to go to my office and sit in honorary credit because I was tugging them along. And so the question is that you asked about balance. I don't believe in balance. I believe that there's seasons. There's seasons when you got to be working like your ass off. And there's
Yep.
seasons where you get to take a month off and
Yes.
travel. I literally had no plan. I told my children, my son, the baby boy, had 2 weeks off. I said, boy, we about to go. He's like, where we going? I was like, I don't know. We're just going to get in the car and leave. I knew I ain't have to be nowhere in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. 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 I you're helping me too. It's therapy, y'all. This is therapy. These interviews are therapy because I remember I had my first cleaning company. That's how I started off in cleaning company. And I remember one day we had the most nastiest apartment complex. And we had no one to clean it. And it was like a Sunday and it needed like a move in. And roaches everywhere. Everything is stained. The bathroom is just filthy. And I remember my ex-husband and I, it was just he and I, and we had to go attack it. And I had to bring Dylan. And Dylan would not even want to move because it was so, we couldn't bring his toys to drop it on the ground to let him play because the ground was so dirty.
So
And we
dirty.
had no one to keep Dylan at the time. And I remember just cleaning the apartment with tears in my eyes, like it will not always be like this. Like I remember, I'm literally getting chills thinking about it, because Dylan didn't even want to stand up. He found it so nasty. And I'm like, and I remember saying to myself, what kind of mom am I having my child in this state? But listen to you today. Tell me, this was all part of it to where we are today, where he's traveling first class and we're living our best life, and we can go to different places, and we're heading to the Philippines on, so all of this stuff that we did to see, that was a season that we had to go through. So I get it. Like literally, I cannot get him to go if we don't have the cleaning company anymore. But I hear you when you're saying you had them on your arms. You had to take them with you. They were part of your business
They were
this
part of it.
whole time.
Listen, Sherri, we joke about this. My children know more about credit than I do
Because they were in
because
the office so
always
much.
listening to podcasts. Always listening to podcasts in the car. They can tell you probably more about my businesses than because I had to drive. They just listen.
And you had to take them along with you.
I had to take them along
This
with.
is somebody's listening today that is going through the same thing. They have a child, they're a single mom, and they're trying to figure it out. And they have to take their kids on the journey with them. I remember having to take Dylan to interviews when we're bidding for houses. I had to take him. I know what that's like. And I want to encourage that woman, that mom, that single mother right now. From Melika is telling you it will not always be that way.
You know.
It will not always be that way. So, Melika, I know you got to go because I know I spent time with you, but let me ask you a question. What can people expect from you when when you come to Unleashing Your Inner CEO conference? What are are getting you delivered to the people who are a little bit behind you and they need some encouragement? What would you say to those people?
So one, I'm talking about credit, right? At the CEO.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell a little bit about my story because that's super important that I stand before the inner CEO to let them know I'm not a girl with a college degree. I'm not a girl that came from anything, right? But I had the simple knowledge about how to build credit, fix my credit, and use credit to scale all of my companies. And so I'm going to walk you through what that looks like, right? Open up a childcare facility with $10,000, not having the money, right? How I scaled my daycares up to 5 daycares at one time, all leveraging other people's money. So my story is super inspiring. But however, I'm not the girl that just want to motivate you. I want to give you tangible things so that when you leave Sherri Somers event, you'll have the knowledge and the steps that you need to do to go out there and get money so that you can hire Sherri, you could join a mastermind, you can have those things that you need to market your business. You can have the finances and the money if you don't have it. And so walk away from inner CEO, unleashing, I took off my glasses, unleashing inner CEO. You can walk away and go get that money to do whatever it is you need to do for your business.
You're amazing. How can people get in touch with you?
So, of course, I'm an Instagram girl. So, for your people, I want y'all to follow me personally. And so, my personal page is it's IAM Melika, Melika, Honore, Honore. So it's I am Melika Honore on Instagram. And then I have Honore Credit. That's the popping page. But if you want to see my everyday life with my kids and how I'm running businesses, follow me on a personal page. And you can also visit my website at honorecredit.com.
I love it. Thank you, Melika. I appreciate your time. God bless you. Thank you again. Hey, listen, if you haven't got your ticket, why? We have been sharing gems and knowledge to encourage you, to motivate you, to inspire you. Whether you're coming to conference or not, you can definitely relate to some part of these amazing women's story. Melika shared her information of how she took her income tax and turned it into millions even though she was faced with all these adversity. I try to keep these information short because I guess what? We can't deliver everything just on one video. So you have to come to Unleashing Your Inner CEO conference to hear all about how she did it and the way she's doing it and how she continued to remain at millions so she can have the freedom to help her son in college. And she's literally on vacation right now, y'all. This is literally, you're paying attention. She's seeing you in the moment. You're watching her life. And that's what I love about it, because these speakers are literally people who you're saying, listen, they are my future self. They are my future self. And if God is a respectable person, if he do it for one person, he can do it for you. Thank you for tuning in. It's your girl, Sherri Somers Bell, and I'm super excited to see you in Florida, August 16th and 17th at Unleashing Your Inner CEO. Make sure you go to unleashingyourinnerceo.com to get your tickets or just click the link below.